Hi, everybody. My name is Shannon Cooper, and I am one of your instructors for this Nurse Aid 1 hybrid course. I am responsible for the online portion, and I just wanted to introduce myself and then give you a tour of our course page. So, I have been a nurse for about 16 years. My background, I've worked in trauma and med surg, I've worked ortho or urgent care, occupational health, and I've been a camp nurse. So, I've kind of done a lot of different things, which is one of the awesome things about being in healthcare. You can just do about anything. I've been teaching for almost as long. I started out teaching in the nursing department, and I have been in allied health for about 7 or 8 years now. And I really love allied health. I can teach a variety of classes, and then I especially love teaching the nurse aid course because I think nurse aid is such an amazing foundation for anywhere that you take your healthcare career, whether you stay as a nurse aid or go on to be a phlebotomist or a nurse or a doctor, whatever it might be. This is a foundation that you're never going to regret having. So it's wonderful. So let me give you a tour of our course page. I'm going to start by sharing my screen and just the main Blue Ridge homepage, so blueridge.edu, just for those of you who are brand new to online learning and to accessing this at home. So this is the blueridge.edu homepage. You would go to students, click on that, and go to my courses and click on that. Now it is going to open another page, so let me switch over for you real quick and show you where that would have taken you. So now you're on the My Courses page. You would log on here if you weren't logged in already and click on My Courses. Yours is going to look a little different than mine because we have different courses. I'm teaching a few right now. You may have only one, or you may have others. So this is our course page here, and it's always going to take you to the course home. So I'm going to point out just the things that we're responsible for this week, because typically when each new week opens, it's going to be, just week 2. So next Monday, for example, week 2 is going to be available to you, and you're responsible for all the content in that section for that week. But this is a unique week. There is a little bit extra to do. You are responsible for looking through and completing all items in the course home tab, the getting started section, and the actual week 1 content. So these top 3 sections you are responsible for between today and Sunday the 18th at 11:59 p.m. So let me give you a quick little glance at the course home and getting started, and then I'm going to show you what week 1 looks like, because after you get into week 1, week 2, 3, and 4 are going to be in a very, very similar layout and structure and format, okay? So course home, great place to come. The welcome video that you're watching now is going to live right here should you want to or need to rewatch it. Course communication, super important. I post course announcements on a regular basis. These can be updates, reminders, whatever it might be. You can see the course announcements by coming right here. Course announcements also automatically go to your Blue Ridge student email. As long as you're reading them, it doesn't matter if you're looking at them here on this page or in your email, but they are super important. So please make sure you're checking course announcements regularly throughout the week. The student question and discussion forum, the Ask 3 Before Me, is for you and your classmates. So it can be anything from, does somebody want to have lunch with me today on our break, to somebody help me understand the cardiovascular system anymore, or better, I should say. I will keep an eye on this. If I see something going unanswered, I will chime in. But it's sometimes really beneficial, that peer-to-peer support. So help each other out. Ask questions here. This is for you. Course syllabus and documents. As I said, you're responsible for all of these this week. So you're going to want to click through and read each one of these in the section. These top 3, the syllabus, quick reference for dates, and hybrid outline are all going to be printed out for you as well today in class. But if you lose them or need to reference them online, they are right here. Let's go on. Introduction. So you're going to click through and read these for myself and Kim. Nurse aid resources. This is a really important section. You've got your nurse aid state approved curriculum, which is what we use to teach from and lecture from. And I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. Nurse aid exam skills. This is when you click on this, you're going to get a link. And then once you get to that link, you're going to use this code to access these skills. These are the skills that you're going to, or the videos, I should say, that you're going to want to use should you decide to or need to rewatch a skills video at home. You're learning the skills in the lab, but if you want to come back to them, use these, because you could go into the internet and search CNA skills and come up with an endless amount of results, but you don't know for sure that they're teaching you in the way in which you need to learn for the state exam. So make sure you're using these. The nurse aid information for Credentia, this is your state test. So you are going to need to click on this right now and look and get familiar with it, but don't worry too much about this right now. We're going to focus back on that towards the end of the class. Student resources, tech support, and computer literacy. Just click on those so you know what's available to you. And if you need it, please feel free to use it. Now let me bounce back up to the state approved curriculum. And I am going to open this. It's going to open in a different window. So I'm going to switch over one more time here. And this is important because, as I said already, this is where we lecture from. So you've got every single module that you're going to cover in this class right here. And I'm just going to show you one as an example. So as you're listening to my lectures, you need to have a system in which you're going to take your own notes, study from, etc. There's different ways that you can do it. Choose what works best for you. You can click on the PowerPoint version of it. This one here, it's the PowerPoint's the little blank notes section to the side. If you want to use those, you can. This is the one here, the one at the top that I lecture from, and it happens to be my preference for how I would take notes and study, so maybe take a look at that as well. So let me just show you one example. So if you click on the module, let me see, I'll close that, and scroll down, get some objectives. The first thing I want to point out, for each module, you're going to have a definition list. You are responsible for reading through the definition list just prior to watching the lecture. You don't have to memorize the definitions, but you do want to be familiar with the terms used before you listen to the lecture. You keep scrolling down a bit, and now you come to the, the meat of the lectures. This is what I'm using to lecture from. This is one way you can take notes, as I mentioned, and study. It has the most detail out of all the options. You can download these onto your computer, take notes directly on here. You could print them if you wanted to. You can have it open on your screen and be taking notes in a notebook. And one other option I want to make you all aware of is you can call the Blue Ridge Bookstore and request to purchase a printed version of these modules from the bookstore if you really like that, to have these modules printed out in front of you. So those are all different options. All right, let's go back to our course page. If I can get over there again. There we go. Okay, so that covers the course home page. Next that you're responsible for this week is the Getting Started tab. Now, not all the items in this tab, in fact, all but really one of them, are specific to the Blue Ridge Community College and are required by all hybrid or online learners by the college. They don't have anything to do with nurse aid in particular. So I want to point out how important these are, though. So write this down if you need to, set a reminder, however you need to do it. These have to be done by the due date or before, or you risk being dropped from the course. This is a Blue Ridge Community College requirement, so please do not put this off. You will notice, as I mentioned, each week starts on a Monday morning at 12:01 a.m. and ends on a Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So with this one exception that I'm going to show you in a second, all, whatever week you're in, if it's week 1, all lectures, all readings, all assignments have to be completed by 11:59 p.m. on that given Sunday. The one exception to that due date is this Getting Started tab. As you can see, these are all due, all 5 of these items, by the 14th at 11:59 p.m. Now, don't let that intimidate you, because with the exception of probably the solo quiz, these are not going to take you very long. You might be watching a 5-minute video, reading through a couple of, little questions. It's pretty quick. The solo confirmation quiz can take a little longer. So maybe, just make sure you're setting enough time aside to get through all 5 of these items by their due date. Okay, that is the Getting Started page. Now let's dive into the last little thing I'm going to go over, and that's week 1. This is the actual content of the course. Like I mentioned before, each subsequent week is going to look very similar to week 1 in layout and format. So if you can get familiar with this and feel comfortable with week 1, you're going to do great in the subsequent weeks. It's always going to have the weeks the days at the top that week covers. It's going to start with the first module, give its objectives, followed by the lecture. You just click on it. It shows up right there, okay? You can play it right in that screen. All right, then you're going to come down. Some modules are going to have supplemental materials, little video or reading. Not all will. If they have a supplemental thing here, you do have to watch it or read it in order to get credit for it, okay? You're going to go down. Here's your next module and its lecture. Module AA. I do want to point out on this one, this has a two-part lecture because it is long, and a couple supplementals. And then finally, Module C with its lecture and a supplemental, okay? So get through all of the modules and lectures and their supplemental readings or videos. In order to get credit for the online portion of this course, I want to point out a couple of things. One, you have to be logging onto the course page regularly throughout the week. Two, you have to log on to your Blue Ridge email regularly throughout the week, even if it's just to check it, right? And then three, you have to, I should say three, there's actually four parts, I guess. You have to listen to all lectures in their entirety. So from start to finish, you must complete every single lecture. And then the last thing is completing your reading assignments and your homework assignments for that week, okay? So after you've gotten through the lectures, next is the online assignment. You'll have one every week. You click on that, it's going to give you more information and instructions. Please make sure that you're reading this thoroughly. Don't just scan over it and just dive right in, because it has specific instructions and questions that you have to answer. And in some cases, it has a minimum word count, for example, that you have to meet. So do your assignment, but before you submit it, maybe go through one last time and say, did I answer every single one of these questions completely? And did I meet the minimum requirements if there are any stated? So that's your online assignment. Going to be due on the Sunday of that particular week by 11:59 p.m. It must be submitted by then, or it automatically closes. And then each week as well, you have readings in your Hartman book and associated workbook activities. So for Module A, for example, these are the sections and pages in that you're reading, and this is the associated workbook sections and pages. So these are also due by that week, Sunday at 11:59 p.m., just like everything else. But the one exception is that you're turning the workbook in to Kim at the start of class on Monday morning so that she can check it for completion. So make sure that you're bringing those workbook to class with you each Monday morning so that Kim can take a look and you can get credit for completing that activity. Okay. Each subsequent week, again, going to have a similar layout and format. I want to point out that we complete 2 weeks worth of modules before we have our first test. And then we only have a week followed by a test, another week followed by a test. So just something to kind of keep in mind. All right, so I think that's good for the course tour. I'm going to just kind of recap on a couple really important things, probably repeat myself a little bit, but it's worth repeating. In order to get credit for attending online, you're logging in regularly to the My Course page, checking your email regularly, and completing all readings and activities and lectures and assignments in full and submitting by the due date. Late work is not accepted. Now, the exception to that is that we all know that sometimes life happens or emergencies come up. Now, if that rare occasion happens and you communicate with Kim and I, then we can help usually work with you with, maybe something has to be turned in the next morning. Now, if it's, again, that's a rare occasion if a true emergency happens or something's going on. But if you don't communicate with us, we can't help you in that instance. So please communicate early, communicate often. And what I do suggest is, yes, the benefit of hybrid is that you can kind of work it into your own life schedule throughout the week. But I do think it's very important on each Monday when the new week opens to at least open that week, scan through the week, and look at how much each lecture time is. But you can even just click on the video to see how long it's going to run. And you need to know how much time you need to set aside for each lecture, because it does vary slightly from week to week. You may have 2 hours of lecture one week and you may have 4 hours of lecture the other week. So you don't want to wait till Wednesday to find that out. So at least look through your week on Mondays to have a plan for how you're going to approach your lectures, your readings, and your assignments. I'm here to help. We can set up meetings, video conferences. I can answer questions about anything online and help with the topic, of course, of the module or the assignment. So please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm quick to respond and I'm here to help you. I want you to succeed. Please do communicate with me via my Blue Ridge student email, not my student email, my Blue Ridge email versus on the course page, because there is an option to send a message to me on the course page. That is just not a very good means of communication for both of us. So please communicate all questions, anything, to my Blue Ridge email. And I am so much looking forward to getting to know all of you and helping you through this course. It's going to be awesome and super fun, and I'm excited. Nice to meet you.